Hello and welcome to the Los Angeles Podcast with me. I'm your host, Mike Elder. Hi. Thank you so much for listening. We've got a really fun episode, but first, let's do a little housekeeping. Please go to my YouTube channel, click subscribe. For doing so, you will be gifted many of video clips of all my interviews I've ever done, plus a lot of full episodes as well. So you give me something and you get something in return. What a deal. If you'd like to support the show, otherwise you can subscribe to my Patreon. That is less exciting and you don't get as much if I'm being honest, but the money does help me. We don't make a lot of money in the podcast space. Okay, that was the housekeeping. Let's get to the episode. My guest this week is actor, comedian, all-around funny person, Kimia Behpoornia. Kimia is so fun. I told her this. I just love her energy. She's always smiling. She always seems happy. She always seems excited. I saw her do Asssscat a couple weeks ago, and she was so fun, and her energy was just sort of infectious. You probably recognize her from shows like Abby's, Hacks, Abbot Elementary, After Midnight. She's had some very funny performances on the rebirth of After Midnight, which is great. Anyways, Kimia is so fun. This was a really cool conversation. We talked about her doing improv throughout high school and college and how she was just on the fast track to pursue acting after she graduated from UCLA. And then it was, from there to the sky. It was a really good conversation. Kimia's energy is, like I said, so infectious. So this was a fun talk for me, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So without further ado, I give you...
Hi, I'm Kimia Behpoornia.
Hi, Kimia.
Hi.
I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Oh my gosh, thanks for wanting to talk to me. I don't know.
Dude, everyone wants to talk to you.
I don't know. Let's see if I have anything interesting to say.
You're going to have so much interesting to say. What are you talking about?
You just talk to so many people that I'm like, oh, haven't you learned it all?
Should I stop? I've conquered
That's
podcasting.
Not what I meant. I'm just so impressed because I looked at all your podcasts and all the people, and
yeah.
That's so much information you've taken.
It's a lot. I honestly feel like I should synthesize it into a book. You remember Mark Maron did that recently, and I was like, I should have make a book of all the advice and stuff I've gotten from this.
Of transcribing or just what you have actually taken in?
Both, right?
Yeah.
Transcribing like categories, how to approach auditions, how they approach agents and things like that.
Yeah.
And have different chapters on that with
God.
But then I would have to get a lot of...
You'd have to do a lot of work.
Yeah, I'd have to get a lot of approvals, and then people would want a cut of the book, and the book would sell 10 copies, and I would be like, well, here's your 2 cents.
Wow. You really went there.
This is a very thankless business. The art / social media / YouTube. This is a net negative still for me.
Well, that's why I disagree, because you are learning so much from everybody or whatever. So there's that.
Yeah, that's priceless. You can't put... I'm planting a bunch of little seeds and hoping they sprout out somewhere. That's why I started interviewing casting directors for that reason, just to they won't let me come to them, so I bring them to me.
Okay, smart. Because casting workshops used to be a thing that weren't illegal, and I loved them.
Yeah. Oh, you did a lot of casting workshops?
I did. Do you know Aaron Krebs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he would put together just groups of improvisers.
I did some of those too.
Yeah, so it was all just cuddly people that I knew or knew of, and they were like $30, and it was just a gaining information session where you're just like, so we practice, and the casting director says how they run stuff, and then I'm like, oh well, if I had to learn this in the room, bad, but I'm learning this at the Elephant Theater, that's the Broadwater now or whatever.
The Broadwater,
so I'm like,
yeah,
no pressure, easy, loved them. I didn't get called in or anything.
I was just going to ask, did they ever work? Yeah.
Well, I wasn't there for that. I guess that's why they're illegal, because people were like, well, I paid for a bunch of things and no one called me in.
Right.
I was just going there to see what other people do when they audition, what the casting director has to say about everyone and me. I don't know. It was invaluable. I liked it.
Yeah. It's tricky, right? You can definitely see there's a benefit to it, but it's so hard to know. That's the thing with all of this stuff, right?
Sure.
In improv, I saw you at Asssscat a couple weeks ago. That's why I reached out. You never know who's watching you.
Yeah.
And you never know who's watching my clips on YouTube or you in a casting workshop. It could be somebody in the audience that's there doing it as well and wants you in a sketch or something. You know what I mean? You just never know who's watching, and you just hope that it's moving you forward in some degree.
And it always kind of is, huh? Unless you embarrass yourself. And even then, not bad.
if you embarrass yourself, you're learning something from
Fine.
that.
Yeah, you're always learning something.
I find if you mess up, like then it's like overcoming that fear that I could mess this up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bad shows, I think, are better ultimately for
yeah.
that reason.
Yeah. And you never think about your good shows. You go, wow, good job, me. And you walk away and you go, phew. Then you think about your bad shows for days. And you're like, who cares? Can't we treat them the same?
You think about your bad shows for days?
No, I don't, but general public, perhaps. I'm pretty chill about it. I go, ugh, that was fleeting. Who cares?
Do you okay, let me talk to you. Let's go into therapy.
Please, go ahead.
Do you ever, after a show, like reflect on that show, how you did, and then sort of put like, okay, this is what I learned from this, and let's move on? Do you bookmark it like that ever?
It
or
depends.
Do you just go get a beer at Birds?
I feel like most of the time I don't think too hard about it because that's too much pressure or whatever. We're doing improv. It's like, and now I have the privilege of I only agree to do shows with my friends. So we're just kind of hanging out in front of people and making jokes. So I'm not, it's not a situation I'd overthink because afterwards I go, whatever. I either said some good stuff or some bad stuff with my friends. The only times I overthink it is specifically in Asssscat. Some of the times it's like truly a mashup team. They just ask like whoever's kind of available from a pool of people. And sometimes I know of everyone, but my friends aren't there, and then I'll be like, say 3 things in the show. And then I go, oh, why was I so polite? Just because I don't know them. Just because I thought for some reason I decided their ideas were better than my ideas, so I stayed on the back line. Like, the only times I think too hard is when I go, why didn't you go out there and have fun?
Yeah.
Why'd you decide you didn't get to take up space and you had to stay back there? So those are the only times to think about it.
Yes, I think that's an interesting way to look at it.
Okay.
Like I like that feels like a therapy thing.
Oh, sure. I mean, I talk about taking up space in therapy all the time. Is this what we're doing?
It seems like we're going there. Let's have our moment.
Yeah, it's
not your fault, Kimia.
Thank you. Thank you. It's just, so easy and safe when you're performing with your friends.
Yeah, for sure.
And I got to remember that I'm the same in both contexts, whether I know everyone on the team or I don't, and my ideas are still valuable, and it's like fine to step out. But sometimes you can just get in your head and go, what if they think I'm rude for tapping them out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, that's so... I mean, it's not funny, but it's interesting that you still feel that way after performing for so long.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I also really like being a support player, so I never was someone who was like, I'm the big idea one. I'm like the helper one. Or that's what I like to be.
Yeah.
So maybe that colors my ability to take up space, even though I also can be the big idea one. Yeah, no? You're laughing at me. You're
I love it.
She's in a loop.
I'm just...
Make her keep dogging.
When I go to my therapist, I find I talk mostly, and I do that, and I like connect the dots, and I felt like I was just your therapist for a second.
Hey, man.
I was
It's
just
not
watching
Monday
you.
yet.
That'll be $200. Thank you very much. You know what's funny, though, is I was going to ask you about that. First off, I wanted to compliment you, and this might be more of a compliment to me than you, honestly. But
okay, good.
I love your energy, and it reminds me of me. You're always smiling, and you're always just seem like you're there for a good time, and you're just like enjoying life. And I feel like I do that a lot too.
I'm so glad you do. So, it's a great way to be.
Well, people always say I laugh at my own jokes in this podcast.
Oh, I do that. Why? Who cares?
Why not? You got to be your biggest fan.
If you delight yourself, that's enough.
Exactly. So I love your energy. And at that Asssscat, I was going to ask you, like, are those shows? I interned at UCB for a year, and I watched Asssscat every Sunday for a year. And I don't know what it's like now, but you just kind of alluded to it. It's a mixed message. I can't talk
you got
this
it.
Friday morning.
Yeah.
It's a mixed match. Is that the right term?
Yeah, people get it. We get what you're saying.
Of people, right? And that's got to be really hard to do on like such a quote unquote prestigious or like main show.
Sure.
And it's so weird that it still works with people that aren't regularly performing together.
Yeah, it works. I guess the audience doesn't know the difference, but up on stage, it definitely feels different when you're up there with people you regularly perform with, but the product for the audience is the same because we all speak the same language because we all like do shows at the same theater or whatever. And everyone on Asssscat has kind of just been doing improv for a bunch of years. So it's just like you kind of inherently trust everyone who's up there. So it's like you don't, it always turns out fine. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But when you sign up for your Asssscat availabilities, they also have a box that's like, who would you like to perform with? And so I like type in all my former teammates, and then they all know who's on teams, blah, blah, blah. And like they want the chemistry. So if they can schedule it, they can. But we're all in the same community. Like UCB's its own family. Like it's never going to be a bad time because you always know everybody who's there. Unless you get in your own head and then you don't say anything on the back line. But it's always a good show.
Yeah. I didn't realize they tried to match with. Did you do Asssscat before COVID or no?
I don't remember. How long ago was that? I don't freaking remember. Maybe I did like one or two.
Ages ago.
Yeah. Maybe not as regularly as now.
Because it seemed like it used to just be Besser would be like,
like
when
he was
curating
more
and who's available, and he would have the same like 8 people and then like 2 or 3 or 4 other
It was
alts.
a smaller pool before. Yeah, so I only did maybe 1 or 2 because it was like, help, none of the 10 people are free. Are you? But now there's like there's like 50 or something.
Oh, wow, that's
I don't freaking know. I just kind of decided that number. But it's a nice, hefty pool of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how much time do they notify you before?
Part of the filling out of the availability is you can check a box that's like, only tell me at the beginning of the month. You could tell me a week before, or just text me anytime. You could tell me day of, blah, blah, blah. So it's up to the performer. And I was like, I don't know, text me anytime. I'll see if I'm free. I'm that one. So utility.
Utility man.
Yeah. But usually they'll tell you maybe like a week before you'll get are you still free email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how's that pay working out over there?
I don't know because I clicked a box that says donate to the diversity program.
Oh, good for you.
All of my, because I was like, I don't know what this is going to shake out to. And I went through all the classes because of the diversity program.
Oh, awesome.
And one of my good buddies on Arajo was like the diversity coordinator at UCB for a while. And she would always talk about how there's not enough budget to get more people into the program. So that was all going through my head when I was like, I don't know how many shows I'm going to do a month. Do I need this money or can I just give it to the diversity pool? I don't know if it goes. I hope it goes there. Please tell me it goes to the diversity pool.
You don't get like a monthly
I don't
receipt?
get it. No, I don't. But I have blind faith that it's going so that other people can learn improv.
Anything I've learned in this town, don't have blind faith. You should
do it constantly.
Well, you're doing better than me.
Oops.
So maybe I should have more blind faith.
I don't know. I could be more intentional.
Now I'm curious how much you've put back in there. That's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I should email and be like, hello. Yeah. Like, can I reach out?
After you?
Yeah. I'd like to reach out to all the students that have gone through the programs because of me and just Daddy Warbucks them or something. Yeah.
Or like the Michael Scott episode from The Office where he... No?
Go ahead. No, keep going.
You don't?
I mean, I've seen a couple, but I don't know what you're about to reference.
He told the kids when they graduated high school he'd pay for their college. And then he went to their graduation and said, oh, I didn't know I said that. I have no money for you.
Yes, I'm that, but I did pay for everything.
Well, it could be nickels.
Could be nickels.
So wait, let me ask about your background a little bit.
Okay.
What came first? Were you doing improv and then you started acting, or did you start acting? You went to UCLA, right?
I went to UCLA, yes. And I went there because I studied theater there, and I got into other schools for that. But I was already doing improv here like since high school. I took an improv class in elementary school because I was too shy, and my dad saw in the like after school booklet thing there's a class and they advertised it as, is your kid shy, blah blah blah, put him in improv. And then I did that in like the 4th grade and I was like, this is amazing. And then I did like the little school plays, blah blah blah.
Wait, sidebar. If I publish a book, the amount of people that are shy that start improv, I'm so shocked by.
Yeah.
It seems daunting
crazy?
if you're shy to do that.
Oh, you're saying it's not a pattern? I thought you were saying
No,
it's
it is a pattern.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like shocked that shy person would be like, let me just go towards this fear.
I think it's because shy people are sort of like, oh, let me keep my ideas to myself. Maybe only I like them. And then when you go up in improv and people are like, yeah, just say whatever you want from your perspective. I promise it's fine. Yeah. And then you say 2 or 3 things that usually you think to yourself, and then there's immediate reaction of laughter or something. You go, huh, cool. Maybe I'm funnier to not just to me. And so maybe that's how it snowballs, I guess.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Was this class at your school or was it at like a Groundlings? Okay.
Oh, it's just after school. Like the music teacher at my school was running theater classes after school.
That's amazing.
I took improv and I took magic.
Oh.
Love magic.
Do you do anything with magic?
No. Not past the 5th grade. But then in middle school, I did the Math Robotics Academy. So I didn't do any theater stuff because my parents freaked out because they're from Iran. They're immigrants. So they're like, this isn't a job. Maybe they're right. No, it's my job now. It's fine. So I did that. And then in 8th grade, I went back to doing theater. And then in high school, we had comedy sports.
Oh,
so I was doing improv there. And then I kind of picked UCLA because I was like, well, I could do comedy sports, had a college team, and the IO was still open here. Second City had that dumpy little place in Hollywood, whatever. And then like UCB was here, Groundlings was here. And I was like, well, if I'm going to move back here anyway, why don't I just stay here and keep taking classes and like make all my friends, make my community so I have people when I graduate instead of like going to NYU or something and then coming back and having to reconnect with a bunch of people. So I went to UCLA and I was doing improv, like taking classes and performing through there.
And like all the theaters, UCB, IO, everywhere?
Yeah, I took class everywhere because I just love, you know me, I've said it a bunch of times, I like to intake some information. I just like to learn everything and then be like, oh, what serves me? Yeah. And what can build the puzzle pieces that end up being like how I perform, whatever. Right. Like everyone has something valuable to say. So I took class everywhere. I think maybe no, you're right. You got me. In this context, I think everyone...
creative context, sure, yes.
Everything was kind of valuable. Yeah. Even if I hated it, I could examine like why I don't like that rule. And you're like, okay.
Where did you grow up in LA?
Sherman Oaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm always fascinated when I meet people that grew up in LA because I'm always like, were you like, because the access you have in a city like LA is crazy, but it seems like a lot of kids that grew up here didn't really utilize all that. They just sort of stuck to their neighborhoods. Were you the same or no? It sounds like you were going to shows or like getting around a little bit.
I guess so, but I wasn't getting very far. I was just going to improv theaters. You know, that still feels like a tiny bubble.
Yeah, but I mean, I did that 15 years after you, so you started earlier at least.
Yeah, it was really all thanks to comedy sports because that theater was also in Hollywood, and that gets you like thinking about. I think now it's at the El Portal. Nope. Maybe it's dead now.
I don't know where it is.
Okay. Shoot.
You said that and I was like, is that so wrong?
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I love them. But yeah, they didn't really grow with the times there. But it's the most valuable because it started my love for this thing. What was he saying? Oh, yeah. So because they were in Hollywood, it was like then everybody else, all the other theaters were neighbors. And like you could just jump around. Yeah. Asssscat was doing the free Asssscats when I was in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And I would go wait in that long line with my friends on Saturdays, and that's just what we did. So it was like...
That's so cool.
Just nerdy about improv there.
But that access, like I said, is just such a blessing. I grew up in a small town in Minnesota, and we would drive up and down the main road. That was our weekends, you know what I mean?
I get it, yeah.
Listening to our cool subwoofer in the trunk or whatever. But to have like... to be able to see like some of these big names on a Saturday night for free is just so cool.
It was cool. It was awesome. And then
you didn't audition at all though as a high schooler? You weren't going out
for UCB? Oh no,
for like commercials or anything.
No, nothing. My parents don't know what the heck to do with that. And I didn't have the resources in high school. My mom was a bank teller forever, and they tried to offer her promotions to be like the manager of the branch, and she was like, "Nah, I'm good. Bank teller only, please." That's my mom. And then my dad sells
she
insurance.
knows what she likes.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Very simple. She's like, "No, please, let me clock out at 5.
Yeah,
and
there's
get outta
something
here."
to that. Like, you do a job and then you're done. You don't have to worry about other people.
Yes. So both of them straight from Iran. One became a bank teller. My dad sells insurance. So like they're not gonna know how to help out. And then also they're scared of their like daughter who's like, "Man, I'm gonna be an actor." They're like, "Yikes. How about math? You're also good at math, huh?" So yeah, definitely in high school they were still like, "And you go to grad school?"
Right.
And you go and so no, not until I graduated college was I auditioning for anything.
Got it.
Yeah.
So improv was definitely first, and then the acting followed. Did you know that you wanted to act then ultimately when you got out of... You went for theater, so I assume you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a good run at this.
I think so because I this is what I always say. I don't know if it's true, but I could have gone to school to study theater or math, and then when you graduate with like a theater degree and just like a math degree, I feel like you're similarly like, what kind of job will I get, right? So I just kind of did the fun one instead of the... So if I did math, would I have to go to like grad school or be a teacher? I don't know. So I just went with theater, seemed more fun and exciting.
Yeah.
So that's why.
That makes sense. I mean, I always wonder I studied civil engineering, so...
I could have done that, maybe.
Yeah, well...
Then I could have planned cities.
No, yeah.
No, you didn't like it?
It was very...
I mean, you ended up here. We're here.
Very stiffy. Stiffy? Stuffy.
Yeah.
I can't speak well today. It was very stuffy, and I felt like I didn't hang out with anybody in the civil engineering building.
Okay.
I hung out with people that were fun elsewhere.
Okay.
So I always am like, I wonder what it would have been like to study theater and had creative college experience.
I bet you would have turned out the same. You know what I mean?
There's no way. What? Really?
Well, you were hanging out with the fun people. You're probably getting it out on the side.
Maybe.
No?
I think it... Well, do you think you'd be the same if you took a math major?
Yeah, just because I've just been the same forever,
you believe in
know?
Destiny? Like we have...
What I've ended up here? Yeah, because what? If I was studying math, I would still be taking my little improv classes outside of UCLA, you know?
Don't minimize your improv classes.
My little tiny improv. Yeah, I think maybe it would have been less fun, but I could have maybe ended up here still.
Did you do any like weird classes? I've interviewed a lot of people that did theater schools where they had to pretend like to be an elephant walking around a park or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
What do you got?
Okay, so there's this guy at UCLA. His name is Tom Orth.
Tom Orr?
Tom Orth. Orth.
Okay.
And he teaches this crazy class that everyone freaking loved because we're crazy like little theater. They're crazy like little theater kids, right?
Eager to do whatever they say.
Oh, yeah. And the weirder, the better, right? So the first class you come in, and it was movement for juniors or something, I think, in the program. Sophomores or juniors, doesn't matter. So you walk into class and the lights are off. And there's a guy in the middle of the class, like with a staff. He always had a walking stick. This is Tom Orth. And then he's like, come on in. And then everyone walks in and we're like, what the hell is going on? Empty room, dark. And then he's like, repeat after me. And then he goes like, baby, baby, baby. And then you have to repeat.
Baby, baby, baby.
Yeah, potato.
Yep, potato.
And then you have to, and he's like, move from your middle. And everyone's just like kind of wiggling and chanting. And you do that for an hour. An hour. In the middle, he goes like, stop. There's a baby bird in front of you. Pick it up. Caress it. Say something. Speak to the bird. Go. And then the whole class is just like talking to an invisible baby bird in their hands. I don't know. They do this for an hour. And then at the end, he goes, this is what people used to do. We used to live in communities and villages. And this is how we would connect from the center with sound and movement. See you next week. And I'm like, what was that? So for every, like twice a week, we'd go in, just chant and wiggle. Okay. Make up stories. And then he'd also teach us tumbling. We had to walk on our hands, do forward rolls, do like we didn't do backflips.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I like this.
You like put out gymnastics mats. We're just rolling around. And then that's theater school.
Did you pass that class?
Yeah, man. Of course.
You got a C in it. Tom Orth strikes me as a guy that's just like, hey guys, I'm Tom. You can call me Tom.
Yeah,
Because you didn't say Professor Orth, you said Tom Orth.
Well, he also was doing this thing where he wore the same outfit and had the same haircut, and he told us that he has looked like this since like the 80s or something. And he would tell crazy stories, and he would repeat stories and make you listen to them because he's like, this is the business. People are going to keep repeating stories to you, so you better get used to it now or something. I know, it doesn't... crazy. I loved this guy, though. And he would tell us about how he has so much money and a bunch of houses, but he still has an apartment and sleeps on the floor just so he can remember what it was like getting started. I don't know if any of this is true.
Nobody's fact-checking him?
Yeah, no, we weren't. And he was like, you can't Google me. You'll never be able to find me. And we all tried. Couldn't find him. Couldn't find him. And then he's like, and I don't have a cell phone or an email in the school directory or whatever, faculty email. So you can't email me. You can't look me up. And we're like, what? Who is this guy? So yeah, that's my crazy.
Is he still there?
He's still. I think he's still there.
Should I sign up for one UCLA class and make it? Oh my god!
He also he teaches some one-offs too that I also took because I freaking loved this guy. He teaches this class called like From Vaudeville to Stand Up. It's called that, but you don't do any of that. You're just doing more sound and movement. It's amazing.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I'm going to email Tom Orth and get him on the podcast. If you can. I'm going to find him.
Oh, he's awesome.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like from where I'm sitting, you've had a lot of success.
Oh.
Did it happen right away? Did you feel like?
No, I mean, I don't think so. It doesn't happen. The truth is it doesn't happen right away. There's a lot going on. This is something I have to always learn. We're back in therapy, right?
Yeah, this is safe space.
You think you can go from walking to running in a day, but you can't. You'll blow out your knee, which is the thing I did. So you have to everything's gradual is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it.
So no. But it was like, it's all a nice snowball.
Right.
Like you start out with a little bit of snow and it just goes and goes and goes. So that's good.
That's not an analogy that I would expect from a SoCal girl.
Snowball?
Yeah.
I just dream of snow. That's fair. I don't have a lot of snow, but that's what I think of it as. And the privilege I think that I have had is that the snowball keeps rolling downhill and getting a little bit bigger every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't melt or roll back. It feels like I'm kind of just, rolling through.
Yeah.
Thankful for that.
I think that's a healthy perspective. But I mean, from when you graduated college, did you immediately you're like, I'm going to act now, or did you take a gap year?
Well,
how did you approach it, and when did you sort of book your first thing then?
Okay. I was doing those Krebs workshops out of college.
Sure.
Those were great because I was unrepped and I was just gathering info.
Yeah, and he had some agent ones, I remember.
Yeah,
I got my first agent from one of his, I think.
I got my first commercial agent from that. And he turned out to be the guy who was doing fraud.
Oh, Jordan
McCarahan. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get all your money?
No.
Oh no.
I don't know. Probably. I think they're still suing that guy, and I don't check no receipts. He was sending me just the session fee, and I was like, "Wow, I'm rich."
Wow, damn it, that sucks.
I know, but whatever.
I had a good friend that was on him too.
Yeah, there's a lot of great people that just got swindled.
That's frustrating.
So I was doing those workshops right out of college. I was still doing improv classes and shows. And so I was doing a lot of live shows, and people would see me in those, like we already talked about, and be like, hey, be in my this sketch or meet this person and this and that. It was really ragtag. It was just because I was performing a bunch and making sure people could see me that I got any opportunities. It was actually in one of the Krebs workshops. Another one of the actors really liked this scene that I did, and she was like, hey, meet my manager.
Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. You never know who's watching. It could be a fellow student or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I met with her manager. It was my first manager meeting. I was straight out of college, and it did not go well. I mean, she signed me, but it was then dropped me later in an email because well, I had to work to live, and I kept being like, hey, I can't get my shift covered. And she was like, well, if you can't make it to these auditions, then we can't have you or something. I was like, shoot.
I was just going to ask you that. Like, I started a lot later. I moved here in my mid-20s, and I was just going to ask you, like, were you able to float a little bit without working? Because I feel like in your youth, you have a little bit of floating ability with your parents around.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if
my parents had
you started
moved,
working right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
My parents moved to Vegas when I graduated college. So they left Sherman Oaks. But I was living in the house that I grew up in with some roommates.
Oh.
But I was like, I will pay you rent because I don't want my parents to freaking own my ass, man.
Yeah.
And that's more therapy we won't talk about. But so yes, I was working because I had to pay my parents and whatever else I needed money for or whatever. So I was working a bunch of weird jobs, and I didn't quite figured out how to prioritize like what type of job to get that was flexible enough that I could do auditions and this and that. So I was teaching swimming in like 5-hour shifts. I taught kids how to swim. Yeah. And so I couldn't leave wet, go to an audition, and then return. So I got dropped by that one manager.
We got a perfect one for you. It's a Speedo audition.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm there.
Even then, they'll be like, so why'd you show up wet?
I was getting in character.
Shoot. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, where did you teach swimming at?
In Mar Vista or like Santa Monica area. It was in the backyard of a house.
Are you a good swimmer?
I'm a good swim teacher.
Oh, those that can't do teach.
Yes, it was like mostly they needed fun people who could work with kids and could teach. And I had a lot of jobs. Like I did Story Pirates, and I was doing a lot of like, I love working with kids, and I was a tutor, so I did a lot of teaching. And my friend worked at this swim school and was like, they just want fun people. Just come try.
That energy I was talking about
out. Yeah. And so they taught me how to teach swimming. And now I could teach anyone good swimming. But when I did my swim test to be like, that was part of the teacher interview, they were like, you're kind of a floppy swimmer. I was like, whatever.
What was all those movement classes?
Yeah, I was too in my middle. It's from the center.
Wow, that's a fun day job. Mm-hmm. You know who I just interviewed? I interviewed Jeremy Brandt. He's the Capital One guy.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that, like, tall,
I can see him in my
tall drink of water.
See him every day.
He is a United Airlines pilot still.
Oh, shit.
Isn't that a crazy day job?
Wow.
He's still doing it. He doesn't do it a lot, but he said he's flown like 15 flights this year.
Dang, that sounds fun.
Isn't it? It's so cool.
That's like I still am like, for my friends, anytime they have a kid, I'm like, call me. I'll teach your kid how to swim. I just want all my friends to be water safe.
Do you do that TikTok thing where you just drop them in and then snap your fingers at the baby and hope they flip over?
No, that's freaking crazy.
But doesn't it work?
Probably. Well, because you're born with natural instincts.
To turn, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they teach the baby and they just...
Yeah, that's not how we were taught to teach babies swimming, but I bet it. I'm sure it works.
Toss them in. Because so many babies die of drowning and they don't know how to flip. I don't know.
Yeah.
This TikTok propaganda, I guess.
No, flipping is real. It's like blowing bubbles and rolling over. It's kind of all you can teach a baby.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's how I would teach him how to swim.
You toss him in a pool. Good thing you weren't there.
Okay, so you are working day jobs.
Yes.
But like, when did you start getting some momentum? This manager dropped you.
Oh, that manager dropped me, and then I was still doing shows, doing Story Pirates, and then a friend from Story Pirates was like, "Hey, I think I can recommend you to my manager. I think you're awesome." So it was another friend recommendation, and then this guy was my first manager, and from there was when I started getting quote unquote real auditions, and at the same time I think I also had that fraudulent commercial agent, so then I was doing commercial auditions as well. And the first job I booked through this manager, that wasn't like, because I did Adam Ruins Everything, like everyone at UCB was just kind of doing little bit parts in there. Did some bit parts on that just by myself, unrepped. And what was that?
I love shows like that where they like give people a chance. Yeah. Like Comedy Bang Bang was the same. It gave a lot of people their first thing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And what was that streaming service that died? There's so many, right? Yeah. But that old one, a lot of UCB shows were on it.
Yeah, Quibi or something.
No, it was like V9 or something. It's not that. Go 90. I'm closer. who cares? One of those shows was the reason I got became a SAG eligible, like a must join, because and that was all before I was repped, just because of the community and doing shows. But the first job through my manager in what I would refer to as official channels, even though all other stuff was official too, was Unicorn Store, that Brie Larson movie that ended up on Netflix. I did like a small part in that, and then from there that didn't really jumpstart anything, but like that's what I remember as being the first thing where I was like, I did this with a manager in the business.
Yeah. But how long after college until you got Adam Ruins Everything?
Okay.
A couple of years? Or was it quicker than that?
No, I might have been in, my memory is bad. It might have been that year or the year after. It just all blends together because I just was doing shows all the time. Yeah, that's great though. And to me, it's tied into whatever, just me doing shows and submitting myself for stuff, and then just like meeting different casting people in my own avenues, or just being recommended by people from UCB to do like one line on something, which is nice. Might have been the year or the year after. This manager I got in like 2016. So it was like maybe 2 years after I graduated. I graduated in 2014.
Okay.
And then so that's that. Ask me a new question so I can collect my steps, my thoughts. Okay. What do you want to know next?
Well, no, I just find it so interesting, like you were putting in all this work with doing improv classes and stuff before you even theoretically started trying to pursue it. And I think that was just such a smart way to put the groundwork in. Like, it reminds me of like Lauren Lapkus. She was taking, I interviewed her a long time ago, but she was taking IO classes in high school as well in Chicago. And it's just like, you're doing all that groundwork that a lot of people, me, I moved out here and then got into all those classes, and it took 5 years to do all the classes around here and everything. And it's like,
I just was awesome. Lucky to be here, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. But obviously, whenever people say luck, I feel like I get a lot of
don't do it. Don't tell me it's not luck. It's something. No.
Well, I feel like people get mad at me when luck, they think I'm condescending, but no, obviously.
No, I think that's a large chunk of what we're doing.
Sure. But you obviously are skilled. She's a very skilled performer.
See, that's what I didn't want you to do.
I'm sorry. You get it. You'll take the compliment and you'll like it.
Okay, thanks.
Did you ever go the commercial route, though? I find it so interesting that I feel like people get here and they get in a bucket of either they're in the theatrical world or they're in the commercial world. They rarely do both, it feels like.
Oh, I'm doing both. I do a lot of commercials.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's good. I like them for what they are. They're not my favorite way to work. I'm currently on a break from commercials because I got real upset. I got real upset at the system.
You're taking your time away.
I'm on a break till the end of the year.
Don't call me. Don't text me.
Yeah. I did that.
I need my space.
And I feel better.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more. What triggered this? Just all the self-tapes and stuff?
Commercial self-tapes?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a bad secret.
What?
I don't do commercial self-tape.
You just tell your reps not to submit you?
No, I click, oh God, this is going to be recorded.
Just click no?
No, I click yeah, and then I just don't do it.
What? Wait.
I'm so sorry. I just don't want to be running around my house in like a towel or dancing with a sock for Tide in my guest room. Call me in and I'll embarrass myself, but I won't do it in my own home.
You do this for all of them?
No,
or
for
just the ones that are ridiculous. Right, but all commercials or just the ones that are
and then they're like 3 pages of directions, and I'm like, just call me in, have one person describe to me what I'm doing. I'll drive there. I'll drive far away and do it. I won't do it in my house.
Will Hines said something similar about 9 months ago. He was like, I fucking hate self-tapes. I have to ruin my living room and get it all.
I like for commercials. Yeah, I won't do it.
Wait, so your reps never say anything?
No. I don't know, because I'm like, maybe it's not getting back to them that I'm clicking, yeah, they're not coming in. Because I bet for the commercial self-tape, it's going out to so many people, they don't got time to, check the board. And if they really wanted to see Kimia, they'd be like, hey, she didn't send a tape. Will she come to the callbacks? And I'll be like, yeah, I'll be there.
Wow. This is crazy, but I love it.
Sorry.
You just play by your own rules.
Just kind of big time in only commercial self-tapes.
Yeah.
I'll truly do anything else, but I can't. I can't do them.
But most of your TV auditions are self-tapes, right?
Yeah, and that's fine because that feels like the type of work I want to be doing. That's like, I think that more aligns with what feels like acting, like performing.
Right.
Commercials, I'm fully aware that I'm the same. I'm like pretty much the table that the cup that we're trying to sell sits under. That's what, like, we're just there to sell the thingy.
Right. The thingy.
Yeah. So it's great work to learn how to just execute quickly, like take direction fast and be very specific. And all of that is what you learn on a commercial set. But I don't get to like live and have fun and like be a character and like dig into anything.
Can I push back and say you love comedy sports and I equate commercials to comedy sports a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Do this way, do this way.
Yeah. But in comedy sports, I get to like add my flavor and I control the game. I can like game the game. Like, the rules, and I can be like, I know the rules, but I'm actually the bad boy of short form or whatever. And it's like, because you know the rules, I'm going to do the opposite of what you think, blah, 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 blah. There's like ways to like have fun in that system. But in a commercial, you're like, yeah, if your thumb's blocking the Coca-Cola, we got to do this 10 more times.
Well, if you didn't have such large thumbs, maybe it wouldn't be.
And that's the problem.
You put your hands in. It's all thumb. She's all thumb. Wait, so is all of this why you took a break from commercials, or was there an inciting incident, as they say?
No, it probably was just compounding. I don't love the communication style and the way they value actor time in the commercial world. And so I was like, I don't want to sit at a fitting for 6 hours where for 30 minutes I tried on clothes, and then for 5.5 hours I just sat there waiting for someone to look at my photos of clothes. I don't want to very clearly lay out the times that I'm not available for something and then have them come back to me needing me in exactly the time frame I'm unavailable when I already communicated clearly what's up. And then just feel like a lot of that compounded in a way, or like you do a lot of these TV film jobs too, and you're like, well, it could feel nice. It could feel nice and regular. And commercials, granted, I worked with mostly delightful, great experiences, but the bad ones really stick with you and you go, maybe I could take a break for a second.
Yeah.
I don't have to keep doing that.
I love how this conversation started with you being like, I got to remember I can take up space. And then towards commercials, you're like, this is my space. Fuck you guys.
It was a huge
This is my
thing.
time. Yeah, it's great.
I
very healthy.
For maybe a year was like, maybe I'll take a break. Maybe that'll feel good. And I only finally did it just like 2 months ago to be like, what else can I invite in if I stop feeling so angry for a second at this piece? And then I can always return to it. And also, I did say I was on a break, but then my commercial agent calls me sometimes and they're like, hey, they really, really want to see you. So just go to callbacks or something. And I'm like, kind of just cut the line.
Yeah, that's way better.
Love that.
Really be wanted.
I did a commercial yesterday.
Audition or you shot one?
Shot one.
Oh.
During my break. So I take everything back very easily. I'm so soft.
This is...
But it was just, they were so kind, and it was like...
This is like an Olivia Rodrigo song where you're Olivia Rodrigo and the commercials are the song she's singing about.
Sure. It just like presented itself in a way that felt like it aligned with how I want to work on these things. It was like not hard, not a hassle, and with friends. And so I was like, yeah, okay, absolutely, I'll do this.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the grind of it. I think I got tired of the grind. I grinded it too long on those things.
That's one thing they say about you. You do be grinding.
I'll be grinding
very
too long.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like I I think you're right in a lot of that. Obviously, I've done commercials, and you have that they're very respectful and everything.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you're recognizing a pattern that it's not. And I wonder how much like SAG does care about the everyday commercial actor.
I don't know. I wonder that. Sometimes you get to some sets and you go, do they care?
Oh.
Most of the time it's nice.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's those small times that it was bad.
Well, yeah, negative is going to stick with you more than positive.
Oh, definitely. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
Thinking about bad shows and good shows.
Yeah.
It maybe kind of was that.
What percentage of things you've booked did you get yourself versus your agent? Because I feel like a lot of the improv world gets it through the people they know and the people they perform with.
Yeah. At the beginning, at the start, like in the 2014 to 17 range, probably mostly me and the people I know. Since then, I feel like my team's getting everything that I got going on. It helps that I kind of know people through this comedy community, but it is just through the traditional channel of like tape and work and submissions and stuff like that. I don't self-submit or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Was that what you meant?
No, yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
I'm always fascinated because a lot of the improv people, it seems like they get their own work just through who they know. And so,
I mean, I guess I wouldn't know that because I don't know how the emails come in. I don't know the back channel of like when they reach out to me on certain jobs. Was it because they submitted or because somebody reached out to them because they saw me? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How much recently have you booked without auditioning? Have you booked anything recently without auditioning?
Okay.
Because that's a good sign.
Yes. And I was so honored and so surprised. I did last season of Abbot Elementary.
You did that without an audition?
They offered that to me. I was like,
look at you.
What? That actually stressed me out a lot.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, that stressed me out because I don't know if you'll relate to this or if I'm crazy. Maybe I'm
doubt
crazy.
I can relate, but I'll try.
Maybe you will.
I'm an empath.
We're the same. Remember? You said that. We have the same energy.
The same energy.
You'll get this. Okay. It was really exciting and really cool. And I know that it's like, I've known Wendy O'Brien, the casting office, for a bit.
Wendy, bring me back.
Love her. She's
we
amazing.
love Wendy.
She's the best. And so I've been auditioning for her a lot. I don't know who has their office still and who doesn't.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I loved that little office. No, that's okay. That's why we're here. For you to talk back to me, or else I'll just ramble in circles. But I knew the casting people, and then also one of my good friends is the showrunner's assistant on that show and on Abbott, and she said that they were just like making lists of people, and that the Abbott writers room really liked Reboot, which was a show that I did, and so they were fans from this and that, and then so it all, because of my previous work and efforts, added up to me being able to be offered this, right? But that didn't compute at the time. And like when I showed up, I was like, but I didn't send in a tape. Like, what am I supposed to do? What did they expect me to do? I didn't show them what I'm supposed to do. I'm just supposed to make up what I'm doing. What do they want? What do they want from me? So that's the thing that went through my head. Like when you get offered something, I was like, shoot, it's not fun and easy to be offered something, at least to me, because I was like, I like to work, earn it, and prove, and be like, you liked this because I did this tape and I know what's up. And you went, yes, we all agree, let's put you on this show. Instead, it was like, we trust you vibe, man, which is what we do in improv all the time.
Right, yeah.
Which is so weird that I couldn't just meld the two, right?
Well, no, I think there is something there. I think you're right. Like, you didn't prove yourself. You feel kind of fraudulent or whatever. Yeah, that makes total sense. I've had friends cast me in sketches and I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm worthy.
Which is funny because we could have just been like, wow, how cool. All that previous work I did added up to someone trusting me enough to be like, just come on our show as you know? And that's what I reworked the reframe to decide that that's how I feel now.
Perfect.
But while we were doing it, I was like, what do they want me to do?
Well, what did they want you to do? Did they like meet? Did the director meet with you beforehand and like run through it at all? No, they just said action and you just...
Yeah, they just kind of they just kind of were like, do your thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is kind of stressful, honestly.
It was kind of fun in a way too.
Exhilarating, I bet.
Yeah.
But this is why I hate self-tapes. I point to that wall. That's my self-tape wall. Is like, I need direction.
I hate tapes.
What?
I hate tapes. Whispered it.
I've heard.
I hate tapes.
I've heard that about you. Everyone's saying it.
Okay.
I would never say it, but everyone else is saying it.
Yeah.
No, like I need direction. And so like I find for every TV audition I get now, I get a coach because I just want somebody to give me direction.
To tell you something. Yeah.
So that would be very scary to be on set and be you. Oh, what does that mean?
I guess through improv and everything, it's like I learned I really trust myself a lot. So that part was nice. I just will also be like, are you sure that's what you wanted? And then I'll overthink what everybody else wants, you know? But we shouldn't be doing that.
No, we should not.
But sometimes you can get in that loop.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that offer put me in that loop. But normally, I mean, I do not like self-tapes, but when I get in there to do them, I just go, what I got is what I got. And that's enough. And that's what you pull through with that. And then my wife's my reader, and I like make her pretend to be director. She's a writer, so she can do this. And I'll be like, just give me one redirect or something from nowhere, just out of your brain, just so I can feel like I'm doing something different. But
I love that.
So that's what I'll do instead of getting a coach. I'll make my wife come up with a note.
That's the benefit of being in a monogamous relationship is you have a reader whenever you need it.
Yeah.
Wait, did you know Abbot Elementary was going to be multiple when they offered it to you? Multiple episodes?
I think so. They said it was a recurring guest spot, so, but I don't know how many episodes. But yeah, that was in the initial offer.
That probably factored into your fear a little bit too, I bet.
My fear didn't come in until maybe like a week after the first episode. I was like, wow, how fun, awesome. And then after I do a lot of aftermath reactions.
It sounds like
because I don't, I just kind of go with it, and then everything blows back to me later when I'm sitting and processing because I don't ask a lot of questions.
Okay.
Ever, and I just kind of show up and do stuff.
Yeah.
And so
it's a good way to live.
Yeah, it's good. It's served me so far. But it was like after the first episode where I went, I wonder if that was what they wanted me to do. Huh. And then I thought too hard about what offers mean. But at the first try, I was like, how fun. If only I could have carried that through.
Do you ever take yoga classes?
Yeah, all the time.
Shavasana.
Yeah.
You're supposed to like process what just happened. You just do Shavasana for life a lot of times.
You're right. I just roll through and then
you just see where your mind and your body's at after.
Oh my God. I love that.
Okay. Let's do a yoga class.
I love that. I go to yoga all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I do too.
My favorite thing to do.
Dude, I've done like 150 classes this year.
Oh shit.
I just figured that out.
I got to check my little app that tracks where do you go? I got a Moto Yoga.
I go to Yoga Vibe on Hillhurst.
Yeah.
Is Moto in Silver Lake?
Yeah, I can walk there. You can walk to yours?
I can walk to mine.
It's the best.
We're never going to do yoga
Dang,
together.
no, we're not.
You walk to yours, I'll walk to mine.
It's just so nice to be able to walk to it,
It is
stretch
so nice.
out,
That's why I've
breathe,
done
and then
so
walk
many.
home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I forgot my next question.
Who was it about yoga?
Oh no, it was about, do you currently, like, when was the last time you had a day job? Are you surviving right now?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's the dream, right?
Look at that. Yes, living the dream. I've been able to do this since, I think like 2018.
Even through COVID and even through the strike, you didn't have to, you were, that's great.
Through the strike, commercials really saved my ass. So I like, that's why I'll be like, I
you mean ones that were
appreciate
running?
them. No, because I filmed a lot of commercials during the strike. Commercials weren't on strike.
Yeah. I forgot that. Yeah, that's right.
I did like a ton of commercials during the strike. So lucky. But yeah, that's why I always just appreciate them. I have so much gratitude for them, even though I don't always love the process of them. But I respect you, commercials.
Kind of like your parents.
I call them blood money. Yes.
Well, not the blood money part,
but yes, I respect you, my parents, for what you've done. But I do not engage constantly. I'll take my space. Yes.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah. Lucky me.
So like, okay, let's have a Shavasana right now. Like,
okay.
When you graduated college, at this stage, 10 years out, do you feel like you're where you wanted to be, behind where you wanted to be, or ahead of where you wanted to be?
I'm really proud of where I am. So I think inherently my answer is that I am where I want to be. A sneaky thing I decided years ago was that for some reason, I'm 32 now. When I was like 21 or whatever, I was like, 32 is when I'm going to make it.
Wow.
What does that mean? Who knows? So at my birthday this year, I was like, crap, I got 1 year to make it. Whatever that means to me. And I was like, what a weird pressure. Like, who decided 32 is so arbitrary and make it is not a real thing? You know what I mean?
But if it were to be a real thing, don't you think you have done it because you're not?
Nah, if you ask me at 21, I'd be like, nah, that's not it.
Really? Living off of acting?
I'm freaking rude, okay?
To yourself, it sounds like.
Yeah. But like, I know that, yeah, of course, I'm doing great. Acting is my only job. I get to just do this as my job. It's so lucky, and I love it. So now that we're in Shavasana, and you're asking me this, I think the answer is, yeah, I'm exactly where I want to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
I love that. Yeah, it's so funny to me that you're like, even earlier this year, you're like, I have a year to make it.
I know.
And and that's so, it's one of those things where it's like, it's never enough, right? It's the creep of where you've been, once you get a commercial, you want a TV show, and et cetera. That's interesting.
I know. What a terrible thing we do to ourselves up here, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we always look forward, right? We always look up. We don't look down. We don't look backwards, which is good for a lot of ways, but also it makes us less maybe grateful at times.
Yeah. And I think definitely what I've learned is that my vision of making it is so different. Like now I just want to do projects that are fulfilling.
And that's a blessing to have that option.
Yeah, exactly. At least for now, I'm like, I got enough of a cushion where I can just do like cool stuff for no money again. Like, would you do that? You do that when you're starting out. You do like bad stuff for no money. Now I'm like, let me do some cool stuff for no money.
Right.
Just to like feel something.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
How much do you try to budget your time at all?
In what way? Probably no.
That's funny. Like, do you like say, I'm going to do a lot of improv this month. I'm going to do a lot of, acting this month. Do you just take it as it comes?
More take it as it comes in that I just sit and be like, okay, how am I feeling? Like when I feel, like for example, in those times where I was doing a lot of commercials and I felt unfulfilled, like I was just executing for product, I was like, okay, I need to do as many improv shows as possible, or I need to have you heard of Public Assembly?
No.
They do one act plays once a month. Really cool. But when they happened to email me to do a one act during a time where I felt like angry and unfulfilled, and I was like, let me do some theater. Like that'll bring something to me. So it's all about like how I'm feeling in the moment. Or like 2 months ago, or no, June or July, whatever. Over the summer, I did just like a month of just doing short films. I accidentally came into being offered like 3 or 4 shorts to do in that month. And I was like, okay, very exciting, very fulfilling. That's just what happened to come up. So I'm truly just taking it as it comes. And when my wife is out of town, I will do more improv shows. That's my secret.
That's funny.
Because she is mad that I have shows at night. She's like, what do you mean you got another show? Blah, blah, blah. So I'll say I'm unavailable for a lot of shows most of the time, unless it's like a big show that I like, the Who's Line show or whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so when she's out of town, you'll see me at more shows.
That's funny. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What do you do to step away? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I love. I love to walk.
I do too.
I just walk all over LA.
Yeah.
So I have recommendations for you.
Oh.
2 books. Maybe you know them. Do you know the Secret Stairs book?
I know of it.
I love it. I just checking out. I have 2 left. I've done the whole book except for 2 of the Secret Stairs walks.
Wow.
Love to do that.
Like in other neighborhoods too? You go to
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. I've
Yeah.
just done them around here.
It's just fun. It's just fun to go urban exploring. You get to learn about the different neighborhoods.
I use Strava to map my runs and walks, but then there's a I forget what it's called, but there's one that takes all your routes and puts it on one map. So I gamify walking, so I try to hit every street in LA or around here.
Whoa.
So I'll walk to a street I haven't ever walked down.
I love that.
I'll figure it out what it's called. And
okay, please.
But it's map my run or something like that.
Okay, because I gamify walking in that I am trying to complete this book of stairs walks. And there's also a book called 10,000 Steps a Day in LA, and I'm trying to complete all of the walks in that book too. It just
what is that?
Just takes you around 10,000 step walks in different neighborhoods, and they tell you about the stuff you're walking past and like the history of LA and stuff.
What's your proudest walk?
Okay, so
you have an answer, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm super proud of this. I'm not proud of why I did it because I think I was like having a freak out and I was like, I gotta walk. But I walked from my house in Silver Lake to the beach.
That's great. I was just going to ask you, R2 Nazareth, right?
Oh, yeah.
R2 walked from his place in Sherman Oaks to the ocean. Yeah. How long did it take you? And did you lift back or did you walk back?
My wife was working in a room that was in an office on the west side during that week. So she picked me up after.
Nice. How long did it take?
Okay, so I left at like 8:30, and I was done at like 4. It was kind of like a 9 to 5 day with stops. Like my favorite part of walking is when you're in a car, you can't go into all the little stores that you usually drive by. So I went into everything, got snacks all over the place, getting little drinkies, coffees, whatever, really leisurely walk. And then I made it over to Santa Monica.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my proudest walk.
I should do that. When Artoon did it, I was like, I got to do that. I walk around here so much. I keep seeing Jack Black around here, by the way.
I've seen him on my walk, too.
I've seen him like 10 times in the last couple of weeks on Hot Guy Walks. Like, I love walking through LA. It's so great.
Love it. Okay, you have to know about this. The Great Los Angeles Walk.
What's that?
It's coming up. Okay, so apparently they've been doing it since 2010, and it's always the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Okay. And they plan a different route that's just like 16 to 18 mile walk through a different neighborhood of LA. And
it's just like it's like a marathon for walkers?
Mm-hmm. A bunch of people just show up at the meeting spot.
And you're doing it this year?
I have to look up on the website if they've released the route yet, but I did it last year. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it this year. You should do it.
They have I'm in New York, I think, that weekend, but they have so many run clubs that do like runs around pubs.
Yeah.
They should have a walk pub.
They should. Because they definitely have a lot of run clubs. Ooh, do I need to add
pick a pub or bar and then walk a mile around it and then
we all just hang out and drink
a beer.
We could start something.
I'm down.
Okay. You seem more organized than me. You can really get this going. Look where we are.
It's just a self-tape wall. Every actor has one except for you. Kimia.
No, I have a blank wall in my guest room. We're not allowed to hang anything on that one wall.
Isn't that frustrating that we have to... All right, the last question I ask is, who took a chance on you?
Oh, wow. Who took a chance on me? I feel like I owe it to so many people. Here's what comes to mind. I guess my friend Alexis Simpson, who recommended me to my first manager that I ever got. Casting feels like Jeff Greenberg was a big guy who took a chance on me. Okay.
I just had him on the podcast.
I watched some of that.
He's great.
I was like, I haven't seen this guy in so long. Love this guy.
He brought me in for Frasier right after that podcast.
Oh my God, great.
Didn't get it, but
it's okay. Whatever.
It was great. I was excited to be in play.
It was the first pilot I ever tested for. He was casting it.
That's awesome.
And it was like early. It was maybe like 2016, 17.
That's so cool.
It was a bit of a journey. Like I had to retest a bunch of times, and then they rewrote the whole part so it couldn't be me, kind of thing. Where we were trying to trick that system because I guess the suits were like, who is that? But Jeff was like, she's awesome, even though nobody knows her, So that feels like he was taking a big chance. Those are the two big people that come to mind for now, I think.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking a chance on me and coming in and doing this. I appreciate you.
It was delightful. Did I talk too much?
No, what are you talking about?
I just talked in circles a lot, or it was fine? Okay.
I mean, you talked a lot clearer, more articulate than me.
Well, I also talked more than you, so I could correct everything I said or backtrack in my monologues.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Well, this was a delight, Kimia. You can tail slate here at the end.
Just say my name?
Do whatever you want. I mean, it's just...
Okay. See ya. Bye.
MTV and the Channel E. A thing for celebrity.
Okay, sure.